Hello, hello, boys and girls, and adults, and everybody else of all ages. Welcome to Culture Doom. This is episode 412. My name is Alex.
I'm Brendan.
Host of the show Culture Doom. Brendan, my associate, compadre, and sidekick. How are you doing tonight?
Oh,
is Gary the intern here
sidekick.
Tonight?
I've never introduced you as my sidekick, you son of a bitch. I'm well, Alex. Thank you. A little bit of power in Alex immediately is like...
I make you wear the hot pants and the Peter Pan outfit with the mask and cape. Robin?
As soon as we start doing the show, the fire department shows up because this shit is too hot to handle.
Ooh. Steel drums intensify.
Warning, this video contains adult content not suitable for children. Join us as we make the rounds with sorority girls, college cuties, and the girl next door in the all-new Girls Gone Wild College Girls Exposed.
I'm doing all right, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm enjoying the fact that it's getting nice warm weather, and we're going to go back down to like the 50 degrees now after today and tomorrow, which is stupid.
Oh, we were in the 50s today, so I was like, it's good. It's better than the alternative.
Yeah. We were actually able to mow the lawn twice already within the last week. So I think today was the last day we were able to mow until the next week plus maybe when it gets too cold and there's going to be no point in mowing.
Moving on from weather talk.
Yes.
I like how we're talking to each other like I ordered a sandwich from you and I'm just kind of waiting for you to make my sandwich. It's like, how's the weather over? Yeah, it's warm now. And
I see you got the provolone on it. That's a good choice. It's my favorite cheese.
Speaking of fired up, you were pretty fired up about something earlier, and then I cut you off so we could game plan. And now I'd like to figure out what it was that you were getting fired up about.
I don't recall.
That's to get you to start talking about foreign restaurants.
Yeah, so I was driving by a couple of restaurants in town here. And you've probably done this yourself, up in Chicago, or especially more so in the burbs sometimes, where you come across like a random like Chinese restaurant and there's nobody there. There's always like that one old Mitsubishi minivan that's in the parking lot. And you never see people coming in and out of the restaurant, even on like weekends. And you kind of think to yourself, how exactly do some of these businesses stay open? Like, how do they pay their rent or their lease? Because I can't think that it's just delivery or carry out.
My guess would be that that's what their
is it
bread
the
and
triads?
Is. No, I think that it is all delivery, especially the Chinese places. I don't know how much I really see or can imagine Mexican food getting. Because you specifically were talking about Mexican.
Yeah, I was thinking Mexican because I'm like
restaurants.
Because like a sit-down Mexican restaurant, because we have like a chain down here like El Toro. It's owned by like a family, and there's several El Toros, and there's always people coming in and out of it. But they have seating places. But some of the more smaller like fast food burrito type of places, not Chipotle, not Qdoba, or anything like that. You never really see that much foot traffic. Especially if you're in the, you're going past pretty frequently.
I would imagine there's a lot of late night customers, a lot of evening. What time of day are you driving by? Because you're a family man, and I picture you driving. The only time you drive is like 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. and that's about it. And you're not on the road besides
like
that.
The usual like boomer.
Yeah.
9 to 5. Yeah. That, but then also sometimes on days off, I might be there like through like noontime or just driving, just at all different, or just even when I was younger, and I knew there was several types of restaurants in Naperville, maybe it was, or something like that, or like Downers Grove and stuff. And I remember like these Chinese restaurants were there for like years and years and years, and I never saw anybody. And it was like the building's just kind of getting more worn down, and there's like weeds growing in the crack. But then that neon sign always said open.
Well, you have to imagine.
And sometimes the vehicle that's usually parked there has moved to a different spot.
You have to imagine there's only 3 primary times, and realistically 2 primary times that people are eating at these restaurants, which is lunch and dinner. So you've got college kids or whatever, or people in the area. I bet you if you went over to that place at like noon on a weekday, Go try to get yourself a burrito, noon on a weekday. Go drive over for lunch tomorrow.
Okay.
This is your journalistic assignment for a follow-up. Because that would be my only guess is that otherwise, I mean, they have to. So are you saying that they're a front for drug distribution? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying about our hardworking Chinese and Mexican immigrants in your city, in your village, in your town?
I'm just saying. I mean, you go down Green Street, you got, I mean, everywhere you step, you got either bubble tea or you got some sort of Chinese restaurant of some sort.
Well, my cousin who went to school at U of I, he was talking about how great, because his son now is looking at going to U of I, and they went down there for a tour. Yeah. And he was talking about how they went to had some great Chinese restaurant because there's so many Chinese places.
That's the thing. It's kind of like that's pretty much it. It's like you want either Chipotle, Noodles and Company, which
Might a big
Panda Express.
I like Panda Express, and I don't. And then people can judge me however they want for that. But I
I think it's fantastic too.
You okay?
But people say it's inauthentic, even though it's started by two Chinese.
It's authentic Chinese American food.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you sick? Are you dying? You sound a little sickly today.
I wish.
You're like got that. I have
a bit of a sore throat. So I'm drinking alcohol to try to fix it.
I've watched enough not drunk people. I've watched enough films to know that when the character's coughing gently at the beginning of the hour, they're going to be dead by the next hour.
Coughs into his handkerchief and he looks down. There's a spot of blood.
Mm-hmm. What is it? You've got the
coof?
Consumption. You got the consumption.
Oh, this is a period piece now.
A period piece. Well, I look forward to your further investigations into the nature
There will be none.
I don't know. I mean,
just making blanket statements and opinions about things.
There are restaurants around Chicago that I can't say that I've ever seen people in, but I've gone to pick up Chinese food at this place nearby. It was fine. It was average. It was just a hole in wall. There's no real seating there, maybe for like really lonely people who just want to be around the poor lady who cooked it. There's like
that sounds amazing.
There's one seat with two shitty chairs, and then you can sit there and eat alone with Mama-san or whoever's doing the cooking. But other than that, realistically, there has to be income, and the rent may not be nearly as high as you think it is.
I'm just surprised because it's like, what you get in terms of sales revenue, and then you have your upkeep, and then your overhead, and then also, just.
Well, do they have tons of employees? Probably not.
It's probably all just family.
Yeah,
I'd imagine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of foreign food, Alex, now we're moving on to something aggressively American. Mm-hmm. You were eating Doritos recently, and you want to tell me about it.
Yeah, so there's a brand new flavor out. It just came out probably within the last at least within the last month, which Doritos has created a sweet and tangy barbecue flavor. And my boys, like Nicholas, he likes barbecue, but he doesn't like any like spicy barbecue or any type of barbecue that has like a bit of a. I think he's in the bathroom right now.
He knows that you're talking about him.
Yeah. So he doesn't like spicy barbecue or anything like that, but like the sweet and tangy or like the honey barbecue stuff, he enjoys that like very mild stuff. Yes, this is it. These Doritos are like crack. They are amazing. We have gone through like at least 2 bags, like full size, like massive bags of them, because I got a small package at a gas station just to try them. Because I'm like, this is a weird flavor for like Doritos, because usually Doritos have some spiciness or like Tex-Mex type of flavor or something.
And cheese.
And cheese, yeah. And I had these and I was just like, oh my goodness, I need to get more of this stuff. Because was it sweet and spicy chili flavor? The one in the purple bag was like my go-to. But this is very good too.
So, okay, now compare this to a normal barbecue chip. So like, are we talking like the old mesquite lays, or
Yeah.
so it's that
Yeah.
kind of sweet barbecue flavor,
but a far more intense
okay,
type of barbecue flavor with a little bit more of a smokiness.
okay,
to
more
it also.
smokiness to it. Okay, well that's
Yeah,
very intriguing information.
yeah, and it's kind of got more of a. I don't remember. It's not as vinegary, but that's kind of got more of a molassesy type of finish to it. Also, it's like the real deal. And I really hope that it's a flavor that stays around for a long time, because this could be something where they're just like, well, we released it, and because it didn't have in X percentage of market share sales in the lasting fashion, we're probably going to do it away with it and stuff. And it's like,
Hey, that
you don't need to. Don't do that.
that's capitalism, bro. If it's not selling, then that's they're supposed to be making the shareholders happy, not you, Alex.
Well, they're still building Mustangs, and nobody's buying Mustangs.
That's not true. I see Mustangs on the road.
How embarrassing.
I mean, I assume people are actually buying the car. They wouldn't make them anymore.
I suppose.
It's a low sales numbers, but a high yield of cash or money.
I would rather, if I was that person, I would much rather go and save that money, save a little bit more, and then get myself a Corvette.
Okay, but
or a smart, sensible Honda Accord.
But you're a Corvette guy, apparently.
I am far more of a Corvette. Like, if I wanted to, because people say that the Mustang's like an American sports car, and it's really more so of like a muscle car, I guess you would say. I look at a Mustang and I don't really see a sportiness to it. There's no like sexy, sleek speed styling to it. A Corvette, in my opinion, definitely has far more of that type of image to it. Because the Mustang, I feel, is more like your Charger, like Dodge Charger type of look.
Well, yeah, I think that Charger and Mustang are more equivalent. I don't know where a Corvette really fits. I don't see Corvettes very often in general.
Yeah, there's a decent amount down here.
Really?
Yeah. Like mostly the boomers that have
like them. A modern Corvette.
Mm-hmm.
Who makes Corvettes?
Chevrolet. Like the really nice, like more modern Corvettes look pretty good in my opinion. Yeah, the Stingray is, yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's great.
It definitely can. It looks like it's something that could compete, or look somewhat similar when you look at it with like that of like the European or Japanese.
Gotcha.
Like sports car imports. If you stick a Mustang in there, it's going to look like really out of place, in my opinion. Oh, are you gonna look up some prices here? Are you in the market?
Yeah, I figured once I pay off my Civic, this is way more expensive than a Mustang.
Personally,
isn't it?
Yeah. Personally, I wouldn't get a convertible of any sort. Like, I have no interest in ever owning a convertible of any kind, so that would save me some money. But I find it funny that they're still building Mustangs, because technically I think the Mustang is the only sedan that Ford is building at this point. EcoBoost.
Yeah, Alex, you're they don't even get to the price point. I mean, maybe with all of the bells and whistles, they don't get to the price point of a Corvette.
Yeah, I'm still going to get the Corvette. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, since you've decided that you're going to get the Corvette, I think that I would be more inclined to get a Lexus or a BMW or something like that before I ever was interested in buying one of those cars.
I really liked. I had a Nissan Versa before they went to like the Leaf and before they just became like all electric and stuff. I liked it, and if I had a chance, I probably would have gotten like a Honda Fit because they had great commercials. Which which
advertising works on you.
Yeah. But also I kind of liked it because it was very much like a real Japanese K car. And like if it's like your daily driver, your point A to point B, and you need a little bit of extra space, I think that would have been the perfect vehicle to utilize it for that. Because what did you have right before the Civic? Was that your Ford?
Yeah, it was a Ford Focus.
Okay.
So you would get a Fit. Interesting.
But I don't believe that they produce them anymore, at least in the U.S. Like when you look at like the Japanese website version of Honda and the American, it's like night and day. It's like they're two completely different companies, mostly because of the clientele.
Yeah, Honda Fit looked like it was stopped being sold in 2020. That was I like a Honda Fito. Alex, this is adorable. There's a Wikipedia article for it, and it actually has the Hepburn Honda Fito. Or Honda Jazz.
I think it was called the Jazz in Japan.
No, it says Honda Fito.
In Europe?
Honda Fito.
Fito, okay. Maybe the Jazz in the European market. Because I remember there was a commercial, how much hipster can you fit in a Jazz, and then how much rap can you fit in a Jazz?
Honda Fito.
Fito.
So, yeah, like we did Car Corner last time, but I enjoy my Civic. It's just good and it's just fast enough to make it through the red lights in Chicago and run over a pedestrian or two along the way.
I've been enjoying watching baseball games that are shorter now, but then they're checking every single pitcher during every single inning for rosin and stuff like that. And I'm like,
I do not.
So you're adding on all the time again.
I do not agree with you about the pitch clock. I don't like that these games are like 2.5, 3 hours long. I liked the days where I could be hungover on a Sunday afternoon. I turn on a Cubs game at 1:30 p.m., pour a beer, fall asleep at 2:30. It's in the third inning. Sleep 4 hours. I wake up. We're still in third inning. It's like, oh, I didn't miss anything. It's like perfect.
No, I'm not a fan of the pitch clock.
I thought you were saying that you like the pace of play that has been increased.
Oh, no. No,
okay.
Because here's the thing. Listen, guys.
Didn't you just say that?
No. I was being sarcastic.
Oh, okay.
No, I was saying about how they've shortened the length of games.
Gotcha.
But now that all the umps every single inning are practically checking every single pitcher's glove for shit.
This is the wrong article. This is completely the wrong article.
People are like, what's this?
My bad.
No, yeah, it's just like if you're going to be doing all this nitpicking with everything going on in the field at this point, it's like you're going to go right back to where you were. You just now have a pitch clock for some reason. You need to go. Listen. People have been watching baseball games for over 100 and God knows how many years. And you know what you're getting into if you're going to be watching a baseball game. What else do you have to do?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you're going to a baseball game, it's sort of like going to an opera, where it's like you're giving up your day.
You're going to people see.
Yeah, it's like you sit there for 4 hours and watch the first half of the opera. Then you've got an intermission. You get up, go to the bathroom, get another champagne or whatever you drink at opera. I don't know, wine. Then you go back to the show and you got another 4 hours to get through. And then you go and you're like, oh, yeah. I didn't really understand what happened and I don't know who won, but I'm glad I was there. It's baseball. That's what baseball is.
Yeah. And the thing that I was like, it's sort of like, well, the team was terrible and they couldn't quite pull it off, but at least the game was short. It's like, well, if they're doing terrible, you don't have to sit through the next 5 innings. Just turn off the game. Go do something else.
There was a casualness to watching a baseball game that I really enjoyed, and now it just kind of seems like a dash to the end, which I'm not really a fan of.
It's the same as it's right up there with NBA and NFL and everybody else. So. Yeah.
But anyway, so because the games are so much shorter than they used to be, like they used to be, a short game was 3 hours. Now you're looking now you're looking at 3 is average and 2.5 is a short game, and you're hitting. I don't know, that's kind of every game is like that now. Well, because of that, a bunch of stadiums are now allowing sales of alcohol to be later in the game than they used to be. So I think they cut it off in the 6th inning before or something like that.
7th,
whatever. Maybe it's at the 7th inning stretch.
Middle of the 7th or something. Yeah.
Whatever it was. And now they're going into the 8th inning or something like that. Well, one of the pitchers, Matt Strom from the Phillies, I don't know who he is. I don't know if he's good.
He's a pitcher for the Phillies.
He's a pitcher for the Phillies. I guess we probably should know the Phillies a little bit better. I have no idea.
Oh my gosh, what is going on with his hair?
He's got a good ERA. I don't know how many innings he's pitched. Okay, so 11 innings. So he looks like kind of maybe a reliever. Although, yeah, so he's pitched 11 innings all of April, so he's a reliever.
Of some sort.
Okay, so good for him. Whatever, he's probably a great guy. Several baseball teams have amended their alcohol sale policies in response to shorter game times this season, and at least one major leaguer isn't wild about the change. Pussy.
Especially from Philly.
Phillies pitcher, right? What else are you supposed to do in Philly besides get drunk? Phillies pitcher Matt Strom said during a recent podcast that he disagreed with extending alcohol sales beyond the traditional 7th inning cutoff. You were right. Citing common sense and safety of fans. Think of the children.
You're playing for Philly, dude.
The reason we stopped selling alcohol in the 7th before was to give our fans time to sober up and drive home safe, correct? Is that correct? I don't know that that's true.
How many people are actually driving to the ball game?
Well,
I don't know what Philadelphia's status is there with the stadium and the parking and stuff, but
I would also
I'm in Cubs and Sox mentality because I'm just like you kind of just take the train.
Well, and also I would argue that even if you're selling alcohol into the 7th inning, that's plenty of time to get pretty drunk and not enough time to sober up enough to drive home. Technically. You might be functionally able to do it, but legally you would not. If you got pulled over, you were not going to blow a clean BLV, whatever blood alcohol level.
You just have your buddy put you in a cab, and then you head back to your hotel while crying in the back because you miss your wife and son.
He said this on the Baseball Isn't Boring podcast. I've never heard that. So now with faster paced game and me just being a man of common sense.
Oh,
a man of culture.
Haircut doesn't look like it's common sense.
If the game is going to finish quicker, would we not move the beer sales back to the 6th inning to give our fans time to sober up and drive home? Instead, we're going to the 8th, and now you're putting our fans and our family at risk driving home with people who have just drank beers.
Who is this teetotaler?
22 minutes ago. Okay, I want to say his heart's in the right place.
It is. He has good intentions, but he has to understand that depending upon the record of the Phillies, there might be a reason for that drinking by the fans.
Well, and also, if it's I can really only speak to Wrigley. I haven't been to Comiskey, whatever it is now, Cellular Field. I haven't been to the.
No, it's Guaranteed Rate.
Oh, okay. I haven't been to the.
Guaranteed there'll be a fight in the stands.
I haven't been to a Sox game in over a decade, but in Wrigley, game's over. Alcohol sales.
You got a bar across the street.
You don't have to have a bar across the street. You have a bar in every single direction.
Yeah.
As soon as you exit the gate, there's a bar there and a bar there, and there's a bar down the street, and there's a bar on top of the bar down the street. And you
I just carried this cup right out of the stadium with me. Nobody cared. Yeah, it's paid for.
It's so I imagine most sporting stadiums have plenty of places to go to, either within a quick Uber ride or walking distance. And so the whole, if I'm the stadium, I'm totally like, well, wait a second, our games are not long enough. We used to be making X amount of dollars from people in 7 innings, and now we're getting to that spot in 2 hours instead of 4 or 3 or whatever. It's like, let's make some more money on our $15 beers.
The guys who have those like 48 cup stack things that they run across and stuff, like that's like what, $12 a pop for beer. I mean, that's
if not more,
some good money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or more. Yeah, more.
And so I don't think that it's the responsibility of the stadiums to protect the fans. I think that it's with anything in life, that's like saying that it's, and I know that there's the whole like, well, bars shouldn't overserve, and fair enough, I get it. But that's hard to tell often. I've had conversations with bartenders multiple times where they're like talking about how like trying to find that point where someone's acting totally fine. They're not causing a scene. They're not being belligerent. Starting to slur a little bit more than when they walked in, but they're still not like incoherent. So it's like, well, what point do you stop? Do you have to say, oh, well, he had 6 beers here or whatever, 6 drinks here. Did he have any drinks before he came here?
Right.
He's not being a problem, but am I still supposed to say no? And is he going to be belligerent then when I tell him that he's cut off or she? Or she?
Like the facility themselves, like there gets a point where it's like they cannot be the parent to oversee how the person is doing, because it's quite frankly not their job. Like there is a certain amount of personal control that needs to be left up to the individual fans themselves.
I will say that I've never been personally cut off, but there are definitely nights where I would have appreciated them saying, you know what, Brendan, why don't you just go home? Let's say that was the last one, and you should probably get out of here. I'd be like, oh shit, okay, thanks. Yeah, but that's just kind of that's my style.
Yeah. Well, also depends on if you have like if it's a usual watering hole and you have a rapport with the staff. Yeah.
But even if I would never get defensive if if a bartender said, you know what, I think you're done. Yeah. I would just be like, then I if anything, I get a little embarrassed and be like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I'll leave.
I'd like to come back to your your establishment again in the future one time, and I will understand that.
The one time I was with Alex when he got cut off, he asserted dominance by peeing on the person next to him and then broke a window. So we have different styles.
Yes.
I was like,
and then they all cowered in fear as I took all of their Merlot.
And then everybody clapped. So let's see, what else do we have? To combat time crunch, at least 4 teams, the Diamondback, Rangers, Twins, and Brewers, of course the Brewers, have extended alcohol sales to the 8th inning. Marlins and Mets stop after the 7th, but haven't ruled out changes. The Orioles had already sold alcohol through the 8th inning, or until 3.5 hours after the first pitch, whichever came first. Oh, okay.
Well, they do realize, like, look, guys, you paid your $20 to see whatever we have out here in the field. It's the most, least. We're the Orioles. We don't know. It's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, like I said, so he just kind of goes on to say it again. I think that his heart's in the right place. I don't even know that I would say that he's technically wrong, as much as I don't think that he's technically right either.
Yes.
So
he's not right, but he's not wrong either.
No, I would say that I understand the stadiums wanting to make that money back somewhere, and it makes sense to me to if liquor sales go until 2 a.m., then why do the stadiums have to? And especially if you're surrounded by bars, why are the stadiums beholden to any different?
Yeah, because otherwise any type of sales that could have gone to you are going to end up going to those bars around you.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, and then let's say that person had those drinks, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I am just going to go home because I've had enough tonight. I'm just going to go home. Or they're like, I didn't get enough of my beers because they stopped serving me in the 7th inning. I'm going to go out for more beers, and then they get wasted at the bar down the street. Which one was? I like how I just engineered a fictional scenario. I'm like,
fictional.
See, isn't fictional.
Yeah, but I think when we went to the Cubs game, I think we had maybe 2 beers.
Yeah, we didn't have a ton. They're too expensive.
That's I
mean, if you think of it, so it's like if
that's what's really good to get you cut off from having more drinks.
So if we each had 3 beers, that's $36 each. So what, $72 for the 2 of us for one night, just beers. Miller Lights or Budweiser or whatever we were having.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's nothing fantastic either. Just
no. Yeah. So all I'm saying is drink responsibly.
Yes.
It reminds me of that.
After the 7th inning.
It's that. Not Star Trek. South Park ad where it's like, drink, have sex, make money, drink more, have sex, have.
Expensive cars, ass, drink, ass, money, you in a tuxedo, threesome, vodka, pussy, drink, you, drink, Vegas, fun, pussy, you in a tuxedo, this girl, vodka, drink it all, you pussy, more tuxedos, more cars, more pussy, more vodka, drink. Please drink responsibly.
Drink responsibly. Have you seen this? Have you seen this commercial? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's us.
Yeah, that little caveat.
But more importantly than all this silly nonsense about alcohol, what I would like to discuss with you next is this little graphic that I came across on the Chans, which is basically picking 2 terrible superhero abilities that you can have, but you can only have 2 of them. And which 2 would you choose? So our options are: can communicate with oysters, free gravel for life, can teleport up to 7 inches away, grow a second nose, control any toaster with your mind, look 10 hours younger, can instantly see inside any empty container, speak the extinct language of Khitan? You're a history person. Do you know that language? Are you familiar with it? Can run as fast as Albert Einstein. And you must pick 2.
Okay.
What are your 2 picks?
I have a driveway, so I'm going to go with number 2 because gravel.
Free gravel for life. Isn't your driveway paved?
Half of it is paved and half of it is gravel.
Oh, okay.
And then the second one's going to be number 3.
Oh, okay.
So I can try to do a little bit of Goku.
Well, I think that you might be able to stack the teleport. You just have to teleport 7 inches infinitely.
Yeah.
It might be slower than walking, but you wouldn't get as tired.
Slower than Albert Einstein.
You wouldn't get as tired, I think, teleporting.
Yeah, that one's kind of like a realistic power, because 7 inches,
7 inches is nothing to sneeze at as far as I'm concerned.
Right. If you can teleport regardless. So I would do those 2. And probably number 2 because I have a house and I kind of, after winter is done, kind of need a little bit of gravel here and there.
And it's free.
And it is for life.
Pretty sure.
Here's the thing. If I have free gravel for life, I can sell it to people and they won't even know that I got it for free.
Start a gravel business. Or you can even donate gravel to needy people in Africa.
They're like, here's a 50-pound bag of gravel.
They're like, what?
We're going to drop it on them from helicopters.
Let's see. Well, to make things harder on myself, I am going to not pick the same 2 that you picked, because technically speaking, those are probably the most useful overall.
Well, you can run as fast as Albert Einstein, which it doesn't say how old Albert Einstein is. We only think old Albert Einstein, but it could be
you think Albert Einstein in his prime could run faster than us?
In his 20s?
In his 20s? I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know what Albert Einstein looked like in his 20s.
I don't think anybody does. I think he just came out of his mom's womb. Already mustache, crazy hair.
The mustachioed children. So I think I would say, first I would pick can instantly see inside any empty container, because the reason being is that then you'll know that there's something in a container if you can't see inside of it. So in the hypothetical situation where it's pick the thing, I'd be like, there's nothing in that thing, so it has to be in the other thing. So
that would be useful for playing Rust.
That would be useful. Does it translate to video games?
Yes. Somebody's already looted this dungeon.
There is a lot of action in the city tonight, and it's not even...
I know. I haven't had a single train go by.
Yes, you did. You had one.
I did?
You had one.
Oh.
Yeah. I heard it. I done heard it. So then my second choice would probably be
You know what? Toaster seems pretty good to me.
The problem with toasters... wait, did you say toaster?
You combined toaster with oyster.
Well, I was reading oyster when you said toaster. Which one did you say?
You enjoy eating your toasters while sitting at your table.
I can control my toaster. Which one did you say? The toaster?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my problem with the toaster one is that I still have to get up and put the bread in it. And at that point, I might as well just push the button. If anything... all controlling the toaster with my mind would do is a nice party trick for a girl. And I'm like, hey, watch this after I put the toast in and go, and then the toast just descends slowly. That would be...
Or if you're toasting the toast and it pops up and you can see
it needs to go
of the kitchen, it needs to go again. You can just be like, and it goes.
So I guess... Well, okay, growing a second nose is definitely out. Do not need that. I guess it depends where
you don't know
is.
where it's going to grow.
Ooh, I don't know if I would want it anywhere else. Ooh,
What if it grew between your butt crack? And then you would smell that all the time.
Look at how happy Alex is thinking about this. Is he having a great time?
This is fun. I love this. This is great.
Alex just turned into a 12-year-old. Like, what if it grew in your butt?
Fires up Tomb Raider. Oh, hell yeah.
Like if I had it in my hand, instead of it'd be like Vampire Hunter D with the mouth, but instead I would have it as a nose, and that'd be like
nose,
like going like sneaky smelling women, being like, "Excuse me, ma'am."
Or you could use it. Maybe it was like a super powerful one, so you could use it like a bloodhound's nose.
It'd be like I could be like that ultra pervert who was sniffing. Man caught sniffing women working out. I'm sure you've seen this. It's gotta be on YouTube. Yep. It's a freaking... Yeah, he's like, can you see it?
Oh gosh, yeah.
That would be me, but I'd be like super covert, but because it'd just be my hand. I'd just be like, just walk up and like... I like that he goes in for like another... See, women will never understand how depraved men can be.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
Don't go to the gym.
That's insane. All right, anyway. The point is, I think I would have to go with communicating with oysters. It just seems... because
all right.
Alex is very disappointed in this.
I'm thinking now, like, just like in Alice Through the Looking Glass.
Well, I'm assuming
whichever one had the walrus and the carpenter.
I'm assuming that this means that I have like a mental, like a psychic connection with oysters. Then, so I could use oysters as spies.
So you're like Aquaman, where he communicates with all the creatures of the sea, including the oysters.
Except it's just oysters. But my plan would be, I'd always...
So which one of you guys is the most juiciest?
I would always... No. You son of a... My plan would be to use them as spies for me. So I would just be the guy who... I always carry oysters with me. What a weirdo. He's got like oysters in like a little tank. And then I'd leave them. And then I'd be like, well, bye guys. I'll be back. I got to go do something in the other room. And then I'd let the oysters listen while they talked about me. And they'd all be being like, that's the weird guy who brings oysters with him wherever he goes.
That's like a George Costanza thing, where he had the tape recorder in the briefcase.
Yes, it could be like that too.
And then the butt sniffer guy from the gym is going to show up and he'll be like, what's all these oysters doing here in the gym?
Oysters. Stop sniffing my oysters. Ugh, I don't like the sound of that. Well, I guess if I could communicate with oysters, I would have a much better understanding of how sentient animals are. So if the oysters are like, please tell people to stop eating us and our fish brothers and sisters, I'd be like, oh no, this is awful, knowing this information. Actually, that'd be terrible.
As you're warming up some clarified butter, garlic.
Maybe I shouldn't take this ability. I think I've made a terrible decision. Because what if...
Well, if you hear them screaming while you're eating them, I mean, it's like
I'm not eating the oysters that are my friends, Alex.
What about the ones that aren't your friends? Maybe if you're at a cliff and one oyster rode a bicycle and the other oyster was an oyster molester.
Alex, if you...
An oyster predator.
hanging out with
And
the
you
young,
have to choose
too many
which one
young
you're going to
oysters.
dunk in the buttery garlic sauce.
Alex, if you gained the ability to mentally communicate with animals, and
Beastmaster,
and you discovered that cows are talking to each other constantly and live in like absolute horror of that and dread that they're being murdered and eaten by humans, would you stop eating meat? Oh my God.
No.
You just live with this knowledge?
Yeah. I'd overhear them and be like, "Oh, I'm getting 2 bottles of A1 tonight."
Just writing down, Alex is a
Psychopath.
All right, good to know.
Well, it's funny. Well,
I've been devising a psychological profile on you for like 8 years now. Right.
some guys from a 3-letter organization from the government are going to show up one day.
Just, come out. Excuse me, ma'am. Is your husband home today? Oh boy. Well,
I just come charging at him buck naked.
Now, if it happens, you'll think it's my fault. You'll be like, "That son of a."
That oyster talker.
The oyster talker that gave me up. Well, I guess we've learned a lot about each other.
Yes, we have.
Discussing the ins and outs of terrible superhero abilities. More so the fact that you have zero empathy for animals, and if they were being eaten.
No, only if I like them. I would never eat any primates.
But so if the cows were like, "Alex, finally someone who can understand us. We need you to stop the massacre. Tell your human brothers and sisters."
Yes. Terrible. I will come and assist you.
I like to believe that you're being flippant. I have to believe that, otherwise you are insane. Alex,
be like, wait a second. Which ones are milk producing?
I swear.
All right, you guys can go over there.
I swear, Alex is a good person. I swear.
I am a good person.
It's time to talk about the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Well, and there was a clever appropriation of that jingle to use it as their
much so
as their song for their company in the film. That was a nice surprise. I don't know if we really need to summarize this movie. It's the Mario Brothers movie. Everybody knows what this is. Alex, what did you think of the Super Mario Brothers movie?
I think they did what they needed to do properly, and they didn't really mess up anything, in my opinion. They hit all the fan service that was necessary to make it an entertaining experience. And I think they did a fine job, and they finished up the film with potential to do a sequel in the future, because they didn't go and just try to bombast you with everything and anything that was Mario centric.
Okay. I thought they did. I thought it was good enough. I thought that relative to the '93 film, obviously they did what they were supposed to do to tell a story as inoffensively as this, to make fans and children happy.
Yes.
The problem is they didn't do anything beyond that. And it
was very, very safely played.
It was very safely played, but also kind of baffling with some of the creative decisions, in my opinion.
Okay.
I thought it was utterly strange that Luigi was put into a different location than Mario, and
when they went down the same pipe,
and put into a different, spent most of the film in prison.
Yeah, there wasn't that much Luigi.
I felt like the character of Toad should have been replaced with a character called Luigi, and have it be Luigi. And Toad, who is a relatively inconsequential character as far as my Mario lore goes, he should have been kidnapped and had little one-liners with Bowser, and that should have been the character, and you should have had Mario and Luigi and Peach together for the majority of the film. The idea that they needed to take Luigi out of it was so weird to me, and so kind of like, even in his movie, even in the Mario Brothers movie, Luigi got the short end of the stick and got upstaged by Toad of all people. I thought that was a very strange decision. I thought that, and then on top of that, so Toad upstages Luigi, and then Donkey Kong from an unrelated property, well, not unrelated, but from a different property, is also upstaging Luigi and replaces him on their journey. And it was like, what the why is Luigi kicked out of his own movie? That is so weird and insulting to me as a Luigi fan. I actually don't care. I don't care about Luigi at all. But it's just from stories.
Luigi Bros, we got duped.
I know, from a stories tell. I thought they were going to do something cute with him when, do Luigi's Mansion when he went into that first cave. I thought he was going to pull out a vacuum cleaner and do have a moment and have a Luigi moment. Nope, he just runs away. Nothing happens.
Yeah, the B plot for Luigi sadly was lacking because the majority of the film he's just in a cage.
Yeah, it's he's more interesting when he's in the human world. Mm-hmm. He has actual stuff going on. I was all I didn't even expect him to show up at the end. I thought they were just going to be oh, Luigi's saved and everyone's happy, and that was going to be the end for him. Yeah.
Or they just completely forget where Luigi was, and then they just cut to him just swinging back and forth in the cage.
Hello.
It's I really hope Mario's going to show up.
So that I thought was strange. But okay, so whatever. Let that go. Then you've got, I really, really liked in the opening, they do kind of a side-scroller moment with Mario jumping around.
With the construction
stuff. Yes. I love that. I love that so much it brought a little tear to my eye because it was so clever and cute and fun. At the end of the film, they start to do that with Donkey Kong and Mario, but it only lasts a couple of seconds. And then they go to all of the crazy camera. I wanted that tracking side scroll thing to go on for a minute. It was so cool and so fun and so much stuff happening simultaneously. And then it's just we're done. We're moving on to the
I think that particular part was where they kind of started off with the original side scrolling, and then it kind of turned into that more recent style of Mario games that tend to be kind of not necessarily with the N64, but even the more recent ones.
Yeah, the 2D stuff though was much more fun to watch.
That's what stuff. Yeah, we enjoyed mostly watching.
It just was more interesting to see, and it was, and I'm not saying I get it. You're not going to do the entire fight scene like that, but it had more
of a technical aspect.
It almost do you remember watching? Do you ever see Old Boy?
I saw the original.
The original one with the hallway fight scene. And it's just him. It's a static, not static shot, but a lockdown shot with the camera just kind of panning left and right on a dolly.
Depending upon where he's going and what's occurring and such.
So much more exciting than a regular fight scene. So much cooler. That's what they started doing with that ending. And I was like, oh God, this is it's over. It just as I was getting excited for what they were doing, it was done, and they moved on to something else. Come on, guys. My last gripe is that Bowser having no real relationship with anyone. He's not on screen with anyone besides his Koopas until the end. There's no real drama with him and Mario and Luigi and Peach. They don't talk to each other until the very end of the film. It's also very strange. And it's there's not as much, I don't know, I would like to have seen them be a little bit of meeting each other in conflict before that and having some kind of relationship and, just something, as opposed to him just kind of making his way to invade. But there's no relationship there. There's no drama there. So it's
And I kind of think, that, like I said, apart from those, when you start kind of going more into it, that was kind of the things that they could have expanded on. But like we said, also, it was it was done very safely.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the first half. And then it started I honestly, and I can't even say I would love to say that I hated Seth Rogen, but having Seth Rogen play an insecure, overly confident asshole, it worked perfectly somehow. It was just perfect that he fit that character miraculously.
I mean, who better? Who better to typecast than
him as Donkey Kong? And like, but I didn't. It's really. I guess things kind of went off the rails for me during the Rainbow Road chase. Because it was cool. I liked the chase scene, but when they ended up falling into the ocean or whatever they were in, the resolution to that was so juvenile and so cartoon logic that it took me out of it. And then it was kind of downhill from there for me, where they were just like, oh, we're just going to fly away on this engine now that has no control. And I know that I'm thinking too much about this, but I can't help it because all I would say is that Pixar would have come up with a better plan.
Old Pixar.
Lasseter Pixar would have done something. This was cartoon logic. And up until then, it was magical and weird and, but it wasn't just like, here's a complete whatever, now they're safe and flying to the Mushroom Kingdom.
Deus Ex Machina type of thing.
It's like they had cars before, now they're just flying on an engine that miraculously can guide them to the Mushroom Kingdom? What?
Yeah.
Okay. And then from that point on, all of logic was out the door. I was like, but overall, aside from the fact that it was really a kid's film.
Oh, absolutely.
It didn't ride that line like a Lasseter Pixar film did, or even like, I don't know, How to Train Your Dragon or any of those kind of other like early 2010s animation, whatever, 3D animation.
Minions.
Well, I don't know. Does Minions?
Despicable Me.
Minions is kind of a kid's show.
Yeah.
Minions. I know you're a boomer, Alex. I know you've got a soft spot for Minions.
I do. I got a soft spot for the Minions.
I think that part of it is because you have children. And so that changes your... Like, what I was thinking is, if this movie came out in 1993 and was like 2D animation, shot for shot, just in 2D, and I was 10 years old, I would have loved it. I would have been talking about it still. Like right now, I'd be like, Alex, do you remember the 93 animated film that was hand drawn? That was so cool. Same movie. But
yeah. I definitely got I got very like emotional, kind of like yippee when they hit the Rainbow Road because of all like heralding back to the Mario Kart and all that stuff, and I was like, oh, they got Rainbow Road here and stuff like that. So that was kind of like my high point with like the nostalgia fan service type of stuff.
Alex, I'm very honest about this stuff. I
mean, there wasn't much fan service. Oh, sorry, I dropped my pen. There wasn't much like, I mean, apart from that, like there wasn't that much fan service for like older people like us, but it was. I mean, there was a decent amount that we could remember and things like that, but a lot of the stuff definitely was more geared towards the fact of it being a kid's movie.
I got choked up by the Nintendo logo just because they went all in with the original Mario Brother thing, which of course they would. And no, and there were definitely moments that I got little tear in my eye just from nostalgia and being. If I was, like I said, if I was a 10-year-old in the audience, I would have had a very different reaction because now I'm a 40-year-old who's worrying about if Bowser's character arc pays off, So it's a different, like, did Nicholas like it?
He liked it. Yeah. He's watched it a couple times.
Okay. So great.
Yeah. And
you've gone to the theater with him multiple times. That's great to hear, Alex. I'm happy to hear that. Support your local theaters, everybody.
I think myself, my favorite part of the movie was when Peach is trying to train him or get him accustomed to like the Mushroom Kingdom, so he has to go through all the bricks and the traps and the piranha plants and like seeing that occur and stuff, and then eating. Like I was like, how are they going to do the mushrooms? And they did like the mushroom thing pretty well. Yeah. He gets kind of bigger and stronger, and he's like as big as she is and stuff.
Right. That stuff was great, and it's funny. We're kind of there's a little elephant in the room here, which is is it woke or not? Because the woke people are mad because of whatever reasons, and then the anti-woke people are mad because of other reasons. And so I would say overall, this film is pretty just kind of, it's fine. It's not.
Yeah, there's nothing.
There was and you know what? It's just kind of a sincere movie for kids. There's no agenda behind any of it, really. Peach does her thing. She's totally competent. She was competent in Super Mario Brothers 2. She was my main character in Super Mario Brothers 2. So seeing her do her little float at the end of the training course was like, right in my heart.
What's
Peachy.
funny is that in Mario 2, I really never played Mario. I would always pick either Luigi or Peach. Or Princess Toadstool, as she used to be called. I don't know when they did the switch.
I don't know when that happened either. I had to look up who Princess Toadstool was, and then I discovered that it's actually the same character.
Peach, yeah, I think they just changed her name for the U.S. audience, and now she's just been retconned as Peach across it. Because there's also Daisy, and Daisy is a different one from the Game Boy series.
I see. I was wondering if that was my other
But
question.
she's a completely different character also.
Because my Mario experiences end with Super Mario Land, which was the Game Boy game.
Game Boy.
I did not play Super Mario Brothers World, which was Super Nintendo.
SNES.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I knew Yoshi though. I played it in Venture in the electronics department. I played that. So anyway,
Well, yeah, you mentioned Yoshi, and that's kind of something that I was thinking. Like, yeah, they didn't have a Yoshi character. They didn't have the super feather that gave him like the cape to fly and stuff. There's a lot of stuff that they kind of left out that they could go back and kind of the Koopa Kids.
Yeah,
was another one.
They they had the magician one though. That was a Koopa Kid.
The magician guy was there. But some of the stuff like they held back because they're like, we have a feeling this is going to make $1 billion, and that triggers that auto sequel clause and stuff. So
I was really hoping when during the Donkey Kong fight, when he got the last thing, I wanted it to be a Tanuki suit. I don't know.
Yeah, it became the cat suit.
I don't know what
that's a more recent
thing.
thing.
I don't know what the cat suit is, so I didn't connect to that.
It's from like the Switch era or maybe like the Wii U era or something. Yeah.
But then he got the Tanuki suit at the end. What I wanted them to do is like, Hollywood, send me your scripts. I'll help you out. I don't even need any credit. I'll just help you like with some rewrites, because the line should have been, when he got the Tanuki suit at the end, it should have been, what is this? And then the guy's like, it's the Tanuki suit. And then Mario goes, what's a Tanuki? That would have been the line that would make it better for fans. Because
does he get kicked in the head by Dawson?
Because we were reading Super Mario.
What's a Dawson?
We were reading the Mario Brothers 3 manual, and it said Tanuki suit, and every kid was like, cool. What's a Tanuki suit? What is that?
And you only get it in like 1 or 2 levels.
Because you had the tail with the feather in Super Mario Brothers 3. The feather gave you just the Tanuki tail, and then the Tanuki suit was basically the same. It was.
You got the leaf.
Sorry, what did I say? The feather?
The red leaf. Yeah. The red leaf in Mario 3 gives you the raccoon ears and tail. Turns you into a furry. The Tanuki.
But then there's a Tanuki suit. Yes, I know that there's.
But the Tanuki suit turns you into another furry.
They're basically the same thing.
Yeah. And then there was a frog suit. There was the boot.
I remember
the big green boot. Do
you remember the Sledgehammer Brothers? And that's interesting. I don't think Sledgehammer Brothers were featured in this.
It might have been in the background, but not.
You would have thought they would have been a pre-boss. Somebody, or like
the Boomerang Brothers.
Yeah, either of them.
Or the Fire Brothers, because they started having a lot of different ones.
But the Sledgehammer Brothers were part of the first game, so that's why I would imagine them to be kind of in the, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they would be included in this one. Anyway, some misses, things like that that I think were more important than putting what's it called, Donkey Kong in, or even like Rainbow Road. Whatever.
I was kind of surprised that they had the Shy Guys in there for that brief bit, because they're from Mario 2, and I don't know.
It's funny though, because Mario 2 has a lot of those elements that were kind of constructed for that have entered into the canon. You know, like
Doki Doki Panic.
Yeah, but I mean, but But those characters were redesigned, weren't they? Those weren't just Doki Doki Panic characters.
I'm not certain. I feel like they were just Doki Doki, and then they just kind of went with that.
Really?
I think so. Because I think Doki Doki was kind of supposed to be
you're right.
sort of
There
like
they are.
Middle Eastern theme type of thing.
There they are. There's the Doki Doki Shy Guy.
Mm-hmm.
So they really did just swap out the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Whatever, it still turned into an iconic Mario Brothers game.
Oh, absolutely.
That even, I mean, because they even acknowledge Shy Guy and stuff in Miyamoto work, you know, like they haven't been written out of Star Wars because Miyamoto didn't make them, you know. So anyway, that's cool. Yeah, as much as I'm complaining about, what the hell is, why is that alligator game listed as Doki Doki Panic? Japan Doki Doki Panic game. It's that that alligator crocodile
dentist.
Yeah, that's odd.
Have you seen it? The one where the guy replaces the teeth with like
push pins
and what was the other one I saw? They had X-Acto knife blades.
Oh my god, why would you do that? Yeah. So anyway, as much as I've been complaining about plot stuff in this movie, I did find it to be a enjoyable film. I was glad that I went to see it. I saw it on half price night at the movie theater.
Very nice.
And that was perfect. $7 was perfect to see this movie on the big screen. One other quick thing. I wonder how you feel about this.
Yeah.
So the animation has this. It's almost like photorealistic.
At certain parts, yeah.
But it's like it's almost like very fluid stop motion because it looks like someone's vinyl action figures are playing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's an interesting aesthetic because it looks real, but it's not like human real. Mm-hmm. So it looks like little action figures are having an adventure together, which is kind of cool for what this movie is.
Right, yeah. It's kind of like Robot Chicken in a sense, but not like stop motion.
Yeah, without the jerkiness of actual.
It's got actual like smooth movement throughout and stuff. Yeah.
So it's just something I was watching. I'm thinking like this looks like real water with someone's vinyl action figures floating in that and doing a thing. It's just kind of like a little like it's fine. It works, I guess. I wish it was 2D. I wish this was a hand-drawn anime.
Even if I kind of would have, like we were saying, like we kind of wanted a little bit more of that side-scrolling 2D stuff that they kind of did little bits of, and then they hinted towards the end, and they just kind of kept that in there.
Have you seen the Japanese trailer?
Mm-mm.
I would be curious to see this, and I wonder if it would be if weebs like us would like it more. So I don't know. It's just funny listening to it with Japanese actors because I kind of like I might like it more in Japanese.
Yeah, now that you mentioned, yeah. Do you know what's funny?
And it's such a terrible weeb thing to admit, but I have to be realistic.
Well, I told you like that movie Luca that Disney put out like a year or two ago, and it takes place in like 1950s Italy, I guess it is. I've watched it on my own with the Italian dub. It's not originally done, but they have an Italian dub, and it's really fun with the Italian dub. Like, I kind of like doing that for movies that are Western movies, like American movies, but they're set in a different country, and if there's like a certain type of dub, it's not going to match up with the mouth and stuff like that. But if it's possible, like it's a little bit easier with animation. But yeah, I kind of enjoy it.
Yeah,
practicing and trying stuff. Quick question, since we're on the topic of that, of different languages. What's your opinion on them deciding not to have Mario sound like an extra from The Sopranos? Because I know that people were having an issue with that when they're like, "Oh, Chris Pratt's hired to do that," and so I'm thinking to myself, would you seriously want to sit in the theater for an hour and a half and listening to Mario sound like a gabagool?
No, you are
because
correct.
Then you guys would be complaining about it.
I never had a problem with Chris Pratt being cast to begin with. It didn't really stand out to me as an issue. And I think that they handled it well with their commercial, again, having them doing the very over the top, really emphasized Italian accents, and then immediately being like, that's not what you sound like, So they kind of dealt with it in a fun, clever way. I thought that was nice.
Yeah.
So no, I think that you're right. I think that fans wanted that voice because they were used to it, without understanding the reality of it's not a video game where you're hearing that punctuate something that you did in a game every few minutes. This is a character who has to speak
dialogue.
Yes. Consistently.
Yeah.
And not be a disaster. So.
Yeah, because the only time because the voice actor who does Mario's actual voice in the Western releases, I believe, played like their dad or something.
I think so, yeah.
And
which is a nice nod.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think it's like, we wanted people wanted the Mario voice. And the thing is, like, in the games, you only hear him exclaim certain things a handful of times, and it's usually the same things. So, you can't just be doing that like Luigi's voice, where he's like, oh, wow, 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 and stuff like that. It's different. But yeah, that was one thing that kind of came to my mind. I wanted your opinion about, because I just found it to be like, it's really silly. Like, he's gonna sound like Tony Soprano, and you guys are gonna complain about it being too overemphasis on an Italian stereotypical voice. You can't please everybody.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think that, and I'm glad that they pretty much ignored that. Everyone's just kind of ignored it, and now it's a huge success. And so it's like, whatever, who cares?
Right.
Like, Chris Pratt has once again in a $1 billion film, and is just kind of being like, all right, everybody, shut up.
Right.
Charles Martinet is the voice of Mario, and you are correct. He is the voice of Mario's dad and Giuseppe. I don't know who is Giuseppe. They're like competition guy, I think. I think Giuseppe was the guy who ran the restaurant they were at, like the pizza. I don't really remember. Oh, okay, yeah, I remember him doing Wahoo. You're right. When they're in the yeah, and I was worried that was his only role. I was like, they only gave him that line. He just had to say Wahoo.
Yeah.
So I'm glad
that's what he does in the games too.
I know. Yeah, no, I know. But I'm glad that they gave him the dad role also, so that at least he got to say more than Wahoo. So yeah, so it's totally decent, totally fun. If you have kids or younger siblings who enjoy Mario, then absolutely go take them to it. Clearly, you don't need me to tell you that, since it's already at $1 billion or something like that by the time this is on. But Alex, the most important question of the evening: how many pots of gold would you give the Super Mario Brothers movie?
I'm gonna give it 3 gold coins.
3 gold coins. Oh.
Yeah. My biggest thing was that they hit all the boxes that need to be hit. They didn't check any of the boxes that should not have been checked, and they did the job they did has now basically showed itself in the box office receipts, and there's probably going to be a sequel more than likely, and they will include many more things. So yeah, all they have to do is with the sequel is just stay the course, maybe improve on some things a little bit more, but if it's the same team behind that, they will be fine.
I would like to see Wario and Waluigi, which is like the lamest name ever.
Would you want to bring in the Koopa Kids now, or maybe save them for a third film? Because then you can, because if you don't do the Koopa Kids, if you don't do Wario, you can do the Koopa Kids now.
I guess you're right. I guess Koopa Kids have to come next.
Because then that would be the thing. I would write it where the Koopa Kids were all doing their own thing, and they get word that Bowser's been
Captured.
Yeah,
They have to.
So then they have to get the whole family together and come on their like airships and stuff like that, and their giant tank.
Yeah, I agree with you. You are right.
We're writing the script for you guys. I mean, that's the thing.
And also, this gives us this fixes. It has the potential then to make the second film significantly better than the first film. You have Bowser has an actual history and relationship with these characters, and there is more. Like, this movie is a tight 90 minutes long. This could have been 2 hours. Like, it moves really quickly, and it could have taken a little bit of a breath there and like stretched this out a little bit, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Luigi can get an actual like, B story in the sequel and stuff, and give him his Luigi's Mansion, which I always thought that was a cool game, and I never had a GameCube, or if it came out for GameCube or whatever. But whatever came out, like, I've never played the Luigi's Mansion, but the premise seems pretty cool. Pretty much any Mario game. So
yeah, I just know Mario's or Luigi's Mansion from Reputation.
Mm-hmm. Same here. Yeah.
But I would you're right that's the best way to do it, and then you can tease Wario at the end of the second film after Bowser and his kids are totally vanquished, and we no longer have to worry about Bowser, and then it's like it's like Waluigi, and then you've got Mario or Wario that pops in, the two of them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it. Three gold coins. For me, also, I think that there was room for improvement, but I was also pleasantly surprised and by what they did, and satisfied with it. Great kids film. Next time around, I hope a little bit more for adults to latch on to, but I get it. I'm not the audience for it.
Yeah. What's funny, I'll make this point too, but I remember when there was when people saw the initial trailer for the Sonic movie and how they completely abhorred his face, and the company had to go back in and completely redo his face. I don't recall anybody mentioning anything about the color of his arms.
Sonic?
Because in the movie he has blue arms, but in the games he has like that cream colored, like ivory arms.
Ivory arms. I don't. Let's see if they show. Oh yeah. So what you're talking about? So they did not change. His arms are blue in both versions. This is terrible, though.
Yeah.
This was really, really,
absolutely,
really weird. Man. So then, Sonic the Hedgehog, Sega game. Oh, come on. Really? Wait. Oh yeah. Look at that. 16.
But I think the problem was that the initial design of Sonic was so terrible.
Nobody paid attention.
Everything else got clouded over apart from that.
Yeah, I mean, no, it was the face was the major problem.
And he was like too, like, I don't know, like too lanky and tall and stuff. I don't know.
Oh, all right. Well, I think that about does it this week, buddy. So would you do me a favor and wrap up episode 412 of Culture Doom?
Certainly. Thank you very much for joining us and listening and watching. If you have any questions or comments or have some really cool Nintendo Power tips about the latest game, like the one behind me here. Look at that. Warp Whistle. Send it to contact@culturetube.com. Everybody knows who the warp whistles are at this point. Although, if you gave a bunch of Zoomers to play this game, I wonder how they would do.
I'm sure there's a YouTube video of that happening.
Failure. Yeah, thank you very much. On behalf of Brendan, this is Alex saying goodbye for episode 412 and Culture Dome. Wait, did I already say that?
You already messed. What the hell happened to you? That's not our sign off, you dummy.
Sorry.
Do you want me to do the Ukrainian send off?
Salute. No. Wait, where am I picking up from?
Hey, I think that about does it this week for Culture Doom. Alex, would you please do me a favor and wrap up episode 412?
Certainly, Brendan. Thank you very much for listening or watching and having a good time with us. If you have any questions or comments, send it to contact@culturedoom.com. On behalf of Brendan, this is Alex saying double botchia. Until next time.